You know, we are constantly trying to come up with new ideas for the channel, new avenues to take it, new roads to explore. And during our research, it came as quite a shock in our little area of Northeast Kentucky at just how many murder victims are out there. I mean, it's crazy. I just would have never thought that. And I'm not really talking about recent stuff. I'm talking about stuff from long ago, which sparked an idea. Let's tell their stories. Let's dig into it. Let's find out what happened. And let's bring that to you all. And that is what brings us to Lewis County Memory Gardens in Vanceburg, Kentucky. And it is a sweltering hot day, heat index over 100, but we are out and about, and we have actually found just one of the stories that really surprised us. And we're going to take this in a direction to where we do a little show within the channel, you know, something new, and profile some of these folks. And like I said, very unexpected. We just did not expect to find what we have found. And this is mowing day here apparently at the cemetery, so if you hear that in the background, that's what's going on there. But this story again is one that popped out, and we're going to make a series out of this. This is episode 1. Let's take a look at the tragic ending of Mr. Thomas Horsley.
Forgotten by time, lives ended by the hand of someone else in cold blood. We finish their stories because they were not able to finish their own. You're watching Vintage Murder, a Whit Docs series. As we made our way to the nearby small city of Vanceburg, Kentucky, we were amazed at the story and the ultimate death of the man we are visiting today. Kentucky is a welcoming place. Any other stereotypes to the contrary are not accurate. Most people are willing to give an extra hand. But like any town of 100 years ago, tempers would sometimes win out over logic. With that sentiment, we journey to the Lewis County Memorial Garden. We are here today in the sweltering heat to visit the final resting place of Mr. Thomas Horsley, whose story has been 100 years in the making. You see, Thomas met an untimely demise, but before then he had different disputes, and those disputes would also have deadly results. Thomas Horsley was born May 5th, 1877 in Laurel, Kentucky, not long after the war between the states. Throughout his life, he stayed in the area of his birth. I'm not here to lay claims as to whether he was a good guy or a bad guy, whether he was in the right or in the wrong in these situations, but I do want to analyze some facts, and publications and newspapers from that time point to some dust-ups with other people. And in the hills of Kentucky, especially in the late 1800s, you simply didn't mess with other people. You were true to your word, and if you were not, there would be repercussions. Which brings us to February 28, 1897. Thomas Horsley would have been 19 years old, not yet reaching his 20th year. There was a dispute regarding some money owed, totaling around $5. Thomas Horsley and his friend Mr. Dyer would approach Thomas Stafford and James Peasheimer. Horsley and his friend had come to collect what they felt was due to them. When the dispute ended, Horsley and Dyer opened fire. Stanford was struck in the head and would die. At last publications, officers were in pursuit of both men. Despite this, I found no evidence that he was charged, so at some point either he was exonerated or found to be innocent. Thomas Horsley would actually go on to be a respectable member of the community. He was said to be favorable and well known. He would go on to become a merchant in his neighborhood, and it must have been a shock to neighbors when he was found shot to death lying beside the road. In the days leading up to his murder, it was said that he was in the company of a few men who were in the area to purchase some livestock. Among the men were Jeff Manning and Bruce Denton. Accounts would show that the men were all gambling with dice. This would turn into a marathon gambling session which began on a Wednesday night and continued through Thursday morning. This led to a massive argument between the three. When it came to the point that trouble was about to take a point of no return, Denton would walk away, sensing that things were about to really get out of hand. As he was walking away, he heard gunfire. He would later say that he did not even turn around to see what happened. He continued on his way. Horsley was not known to carry a gun. Manning had shot Horsley in cold blood and left him to die. It is said that Thomas Horsley would carry large sums of money, and he did not use banks. At first, police had no idea who fired the shot, Denton or Manning. It is said that Jeff Manning would eventually be arrested. As with other small-town stories, a similar pattern took place when it came to the aftermath. Great crowds of people gathered to view the body. Thomas Horsley was laid to rest at Lewis County Memorial Gardens in Vanceburg, Kentucky, which is where we are today, and we are here to pay our respects to Mr. Thomas Horsley. A few footnotes. Jeff Manning, the man charged with murder, had already been incarcerated for murder once before. I found no records of him after this occurrence. Mrs. Horsley never remarried and is buried beside of Thomas. Some records show that it was a card game. Some records show it was a dice game. Either one points to gambling and a gambling dispute that led to this great tragedy. Forgotten by time, lives ended by the hand of someone else in cold blood. We finish their stories because they were not able to finish their own. You're watching Vintage Murder, a Whit Docs series.